King Bhumibol Adulyadej was the longest reigning monarch of this century. And while his reign was marked by great change in Thailand, the devotion of his people remains testament to his success. Born in the United States and raised in Thailand and Switzerland, he was not initially in line to inherit the throne, but a military coup and the mysterious death of his brother in a shooting incident meant he was thrust into the limelight as the 9th king of the Jakri dynasty. Perseverance and determination, however, saw King Bhumibol breaking down the constraints. Regular visits to distant parts of the country brought the king into contact with his subjects, and King Bhumibol confirmed the devotion of his people as a monarch, tirelessly committed to their well-being. Thailand has changed dramatically during the 6 decades of King Bhumibol's reign, as traditional values have been challenged in an increasingly global and commercial world. In recent years, the strains have shown on the fabric of Thai society as political protests spilled out onto the streets and popular politics challenged the old order. In the past, the king was an effective mediator between the forces of reactionaries and reformers. In later years, however, perhaps because of age and ill health, the king withdrew to the sidelines as his constitutional role dictated, although there was no disguising the frosty relationship with Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra, later deposed in a coup. But nothing could taint the love most Thais felt for their monarch. In the grandest tradition of monarchies around the world, he was a king whose presence was felt throughout his kingdom. Now that he's passed, King Bhumibol's absence will also be keenly felt by a nation that enters a long period of mourning and uncertainty. Tony Cheng, CCTV, Bangkok.
For more discussion on King Bhumibol's legacy, we are joined in Beijing studio, Mr. Song Qingrun, Associate Professor at China Institute of Contemporary International Relations, focusing on Southeast Asia. In Singapore, we're having Mr. Lim Tai Wei, Adjunct Research Fellow, National University of Singapore. In Bangkok, we have Mr. Sean Boonpracong, a former advisor to the Thai government. Gentlemen, welcome to the three of you. First of all, Mr. Boonpracong, our sincere condolences to the pass away of the beloved king. Having said that, though, he has been very much a unifying figure. Is Thailand gonna be the same after this great figure passed away?
Essentially, I have to say we have to watch the political unfold very carefully. Of course, there would be a certain amount of mourning period as minimum of 6 months. And then there's again the next stage would be the naming of the region and possibly the transition to succession for the next king. But at the same time, I believe the Thai characters, the unified effect that the King Bhumibol had upon us would have a certain period of peace.
I see.
That to honor his memories. So as far as this is a short duration, and I entertain the next question if you have any.
All right. Let's go to Mr. Lim Tai Wei from Singapore. Of course, Thailand, an important country in Southeast Asia, important member of ASEAN. How do people there view the pass away of this great leader, certainly a stabilizing factor inside the country?
Well, I think the Thai king is a very revered person. He enjoys a good image, a very positive image amongst people, not just in Thailand, but also in other ASEAN countries. And certainly the Thai community in Singapore will be very sad to see their beloved king passed away. I also have to add that the Thai king had a very good relationship also with other regional East Asian countries, including China itself. And in 1978, November, when the Chinese leader Deng Xiaoping visited Thailand, he managed to witness he was invited by the Thai king and managed to witness the ordination of the Crown Prince, then 26 years old, the ceremony, the ordination ceremony.
Right.
And Mr. Deng handed the Crown Prince a saffron robe, and that was an act of gesture that went very well with the Thai people as well.
I see.
So both within ASEAN, he will be missed as a pioneer leader.
Mr. Song, of course, Mr. Lim Tai Wei already mentioned China. Both the king and the daughter and the son visited China before and seem to have a great interest in developing ties with China. What do you make from China's perspective, this latest news?
Yeah, both the king and all the royal family have done great contributions to China and Thailand relations. We always see that China and Thailand just like the relatives in the same family. It describes our good relations, close relations. The king asked the princess Siriton to learn the Chinese culture,
Yes.
and also Princess Siriton can speak Chinese, can write Chinese articles, and also can translate Chinese books to the Thailand language to introduce Chinese books and culture. And also another, also the new king, the prince, Vajiralongkorn, also visited China, and also he also accepted China delegations in Thailand. And also another princess, Drolapong, also knows the Chinese culture well. He can play the Chinese ancient piano, and so to introduce Chinese culture.
I can tell one by one, every one of them is fascinated about Chinese culture. Having said that, though, let's come back to the political life of this beloved king. Mr. Boonpracong, let me ask you about this. At the very beginning of his career as the king, he was not necessarily at all a figure that would bring peace to the country. He pretty much was on par with the military. Only later he managed to become the most respected figure inside the country. How did he manage to do that?
It was hard work, and I think he took an example from his own father, Prince Mahidol, who studied medicine at Harvard. He was instrumental into bringing rural medicine, rural development to every single part of the country. And the first 20 years of his reign, I think Thai people saw his genuine effort, and therefore returned that love and gave him the type of influence which is similar to, in Thai word we have called barami, and is increased exponentially since then, and he's been a rock of the country.
I see.
Just as if Mao Zedong or George Washington to the rest of the world,
the king,
to Thai people, he has just that.
Mr. Boonpracong, if I understand right, the king has been very keen over the years to do development projects to help people out of poverty, to concentrate his very limited political power on things, as he said, he would be able to do. How much of that is winning the love from people for him, briefly?
Essentially, he has a common touch. Another giant project that he was responsible to was the water management. He was responsible for building a 20 major dam that enabled Thailand to be the major agricultural export of the world, and it's all from his water policy. He has been wise, he has been interpret, he listened to every side of the story, and he was particularly has a certain connection with the rural people, and that's why they loved and worshipped him.
Professor Lim, let me ask you about this. We have known that King Bhumibol has been really the figure that has, the king really has been the figure that has been serving in Thailand for the longest period of time. But let me ask you, how did he manage, from your perspective, to bring Thailand, particularly the royal system, the monarchy, into the most stabilizing institution in Thailand. As we all know, in other countries, monarchy has been reaching a rather declining stage. There seems to be quite a contrast.
I think very importantly,
that
Professor Lim, please.
okay, sorry.
Okay, I think he very quickly became a symbol of unity for the Thai people. And during his reign, there were a number of military coups, which, brought some disruptions to the political system. But through this political system, the king was able to become a symbol of unity. And to the international audience, we saw images of how the generals, appeared before the king and also presented their story in front of the king and on a sort of a prostrate kind of a position. So from these powerful images, you can see how the king is a central figure that pulls all different factions, all different political factions and generals within the country together. And therefore, through many instances,
Right.
he became the natural symbol of unity within the country.
Mr. Song, of course, the king was extremely politically smart. And yet the question is, for the next generation, and even the political leaders inside the country of Thailand, what are the most important factors of leadership that would manage to bring this country continue on the path of peace, if it's possible?
Yeah, actually there are some class disputes. I mean that the elites and the middle class versus the grassroots. There are some disputes and some power struggle or resource struggle between the two camps. So now I think for the future leader in Thailand, he or she should make efforts to make up the differences between the two camps to resolve the social problems and to make reconciliation for the two different camps of the people.
Is it possible, Mr. Boonpracong, the King Bhumibol has managed to do that, but what about his followers? And what about the political leadership now? And what about, from time to time, many times, military coup?
For now, I believe in the short duration, for the morning, at least minimum of 6 months, there would be peace. But all in all, I don't foresee any scenario that are difficult on what we are living now. What I foresee is some type of rapprochement, and Thai by large are pragmatic people, and even if there have been some political differences, eventually there has to be some a dialogue, and the military would assure of that. But nevertheless, the military will be a little bit stronger to manage during this transition. The previously schedule of election in 2017 may be postponed, but we have to wait for some type of a decision that this government has to come up with to coincide with the mourning period.
I see.
But at this point, I don't foresee any turmoil, political turmoil that anticipated.
All right. I remember the king when he was delivering a speech during his birthday for the year 2001. He specifically said, "As happy as the king," as an idiom in English, that is just not true. Sometimes the king is not necessarily happy all the time. But we have seen a very respectful king, and certainly left us a legacy of peace inside the country. On that, thank you so much for the three of you gentlemen for being with us.